ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So we're dealing with the chapter on right knowledge, and I think we completed the 56th verse last time, correct? So any questions, clarifications on that? Or it's all clear? Okay. No questions? Okay, that means I'll assume that's clear for everyone. And maybe I'll get a better picture when I make you all present something on different facets of this chapter. Okay. Anyway, so the whole idea is the same, continuation. Okay. How body, etc., is mistaken to the self, etc., all that he was talking about, and how this is the question of Adhyasa. This question of Adhyasa also I will deal with in today's evening talk as well, in a very simple, straightforward manner. Okay. So he said how any Adhyasa does not contaminate the Adhisthana, all that we saw in detail last time. Then going ahead with that, he says, Drishtva bahyam nimilyatah smrutva tat parivahaya cha atha unmilyat atmano drishtihi brahma prapnoti anadbhagaha. Says bahyan drishtva nimilya ataha. Okay. Bahyan drishtva. Whatever is seen outside is to be resolved into what is inside, he says. Okay. Bahya nimilite atas smrutva. Why is he saying this? And in the translation they said put it into the dream state. It is not dream state. Because the dream state is dependent on what you see in the waking. Remember, he said the whole thing is an adhyasa. And for an adhyasa, it has to be atasmin tad buddhi, right? You remember the definition of adhyasa from the adhyasa bhashya? ऐसा बोलने का नहीं है. Okay. And what are the qualifications given to atasmin tad buddhi? There are two words given as qualification to that. याद है? Yes, smriti rupaha purvadrishtaha.
And no Vishesha Jnanam.
Huh?
Vishesha Jnanam is not there, only Samanya Jnanam.
That is not the definition. Check the definition.
No, that's a prerequisite, yeah.
Check the definition. Now, when you are talking about Purvadrishtam, it has to be seen before. Smriti tulyaha. Because only if you have the samskara inside will you recognize it outside. To recognize it outside, to have projected it outside, to have a concept about it outside, you need to have a concept inside. So to see that the whole world that you see, is it being seen outside you or inside you?
What? What, sir?
Yeah, you deal with it as though it is outside you.
Yeah.
But remember, for every perception, your mind has to take the form of the object.
Yes.
And you have to objectify it. Only then there is a subject-object relationship. Correct or not?
Yes.
Theory of perception. Yeah. So if that is the theory of perception, are you objectifying it outside or you are objectifying the thought?
Thought. It's in the mind.
You are objectifying the thought. Therefore, to recognize that no object outside exists apart from your cognition of the object. It's a big step she is taking here. Okay. It's a big step. That you can say there is an object
Swamiji.
only. Yeah?
Yeah, that is vritti vyapti, no? You talk
Yeah,
about.
vritti vyapti. And phala vyapti. Both are necessary. Na? So, there is no cognition of an object without, there is no existence of an object. You can't prove the existence of an object without cognition of it. Minimum necessary. You must see it. Therefore, the existence of the whole world depends, really speaking, on your cognition. How do you say this book exists? Minimum you have to say it is there, I see it. How can you say it exists? Somebody has to see it. Otherwise, you cannot say it exists or it doesn't exist. So, are you saying that things that you don't know doesn't exist? No, I am not saying that. It is there in somebody's cognition. If nothing, Ishvara's cognition. If you bring Ishvara into the picture, it is easier to understand. It has to be there in Ishvara's mind. No? In fact, Ishvara doesn't have the question of inside and outside. You and I have the question of inside outside. Because our minds are limited to this body. Since our minds are limited to this body, we have inside outside question. For Ishvara, everything is inside. There is no outside. Therefore, there is nothing like inside also. Are you all understanding this or you are having a doubt about it?
Yeah.
I have handled it before. The whole question of Vishwarupa Darshanam is based on this only. In the Gita, 11th chapter of Vishwarupa Darshanam is based on this only. The whole Vishwarupa Darshanam is what? Everything is in Ishvara only. There is nothing outside. In fact, there is no outside. Inside, outside are spatial concepts. When the whole space is in Vishwarupa, where is outside? So the idea is, that's why for Ishvara to create, it just requires a thought. He thought and it was there. Exactly like how you create your dreams. If you are building a house in your dream, you are building your dream house, okay? And in your dream house, you have created a big nice swimming pool also. Okay? You have a nice swimming pool also in the house. Tell me, for the swimming pool and the house and everything, where did you get the brick and the mortar and the wood and the water from the pool, where did you get it all from?
Ashok.
Your thought alone was enough. Yeah. Your thought alone was enough. You didn't need anything else. Besides your thought, you didn't need anything. Exactly like how you create those various hormones and endotrophins within your body by your thought. I crack a joke and you laugh. Endotrophins are released all over. Why? Just because of a thought. Your thought is creating things within your body. For Ishvara, everything is within. Therefore, he says, the gross is resolved into the subtle. Idea wise, not physically. Physically, don't try to resolve your body into your subtle body. Oh, problem ho jayega. For others, not for you. Understanding wise, cognition wise, okay, to resolve, okay. Then tat parivahaya cha ataha unmilyat atmanaha drishtihi. Then what? Where did the whole thing come? Where did the subtle thing come from? Atma, which is Brahman. So the gross into the subtle into Brahman. Okay. Idea wise, in your understanding. Okay. So the whole thing is resolved. Okay. Means what? All there is only one existence, consciousness. That understanding. Can have various ways of arriving at that. That's okay. Pick one which you are comfortable with. I have given lots of paradigms. Okay. So when you resolve that, he says, Drishtim Atmanaha Drishtim Brahma. Okay. In between he says, in between he brings in the translation at least, he brings in ignorance also, Maya Shakti. Everything is resolved into Maya Shakti and Maya Shakti is resolved into Brahman. Okay. That's for the translation. All there is resolved into Brahman straight. Okay. And if everything resolved into Brahman, he says, and that Brahman cannot stand apart from you. You cannot stand apart from Brahman, Brahman cannot stand apart from you. Two words are used, Atma and Brahman. Two words to indicate two standpoints, not two entities. When you are referring to that consciousness with respect to one individual body and mind, you will call it Atma. When you are referring to the same consciousness with respect to the totality, you will call it Brahman. Two words, one reality. Says when you know that, he says, Prapnoti Andvagaha. He says, then there is no travel for you. Neither by the northern or the southern paths. You remember the northern and the southern paths, don't you? Gita 8th chapter.
Yeah.
Yes, we remember.
Yeah. So the dark half.
Uttarayana and Dakshinayana.
Uttarayanam and Dakshinayanam. Yes. So now where are we? Uttarayanam or Dakshinayanam?
We are in Uttarayan.
Sure? It shows our cultural disconnect. Uttarayanam. Okay. Uttarayanam we are in. From the winter solstice to the summer solstice. We are in Uttarayana. Okay. Dakshinayanam will start with the summer solstice to the winter solstice. Yeah. How culturally disconnected we are, okay? Therefore, the solar path and the lunar path, the path of the sun, Uttarayana Margaha, goes to Brahmalokaha. In Kali Yuga, very few people go there, okay? Because it requires huge amount of effort, etc. Kali Yuga, nobody can put in that much of effort. To do one yaga itself is so difficult. One yaga. Material नहीं मिलता है. I have a priest in Udupi, okay, who does this homas, pujas, etc. for people who are in problem. And now it is Corona time, a lot of people are in problems. So they have been telling him. He is Ravindra, but you all know him. He is there for our Vedic Wisdom Festival. So people approach him, and the solutions, if you go to an astrologer, what solution do you expect? A religious solution. You know, somebody was cribbing in my class. We went to this astrologer and he is asking to do this puja, this homa, that homa. I said, correct. If you go to an internalist, a general medicine person, a doctor who's in general medicine, what do you expect? Him to give you medicine or not give you medicine? If you go to a surgeon, he will give you surgical options. If you go to a physiotherapist, he will give you exercise options. Correct or not? If you go to an astrologer, he will give you religious options. Don't crib. You do it or don't do it is your choice. Exactly like in medicine, it's your choice to take that medicine or don't take it. No? Human rights. Sometimes I find it a bit stupid, but human rights. You have a choice to take the medicine or not take the medicine. So similarly here, your choice. He's advised you. You do or you don't do. Anyway, he does a lot. So he is giving these options. Then the question is where to do the puja in lockdown. Luckily his brother is a priest who does pujas, etc. But where do you get the material now in lockdown? To source the materials, this, that, etc. किधर से लेके आएगा? Different types of wood are necessary for different types of homas. Yeah. So in Kali Yuga, to do an ordinary homa and this thing is difficult. Then to do so much that you have to go to Brahmaloka, not possible. Okay. Because when you go to Brahmaloka, there is no return until the end of the Kalpa. Then end of the Kalpa, Brahmaji teaches you and you gain moksha, hopefully. Why hopefully? Because 20,000 years from now onwards, till the end of the Kalpa, end of Kali Yuga, 20,000 years you have been only enjoying life in Brahmaloka. Will you have the mind to learn at the end of 20,000 years of enjoyment? Will you still be able to have samadama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, etc.? Viveka, vairagya, etc. will you have? Would you have kept that powder dry, like, so it can catch fire? Yeah, question worth asking. But don't worry, most of us, if we go, even if we'll die in Uttarayanam, we will follow the Dakshina Marga. Go up to Pitraloka, etc. Okay, and then Kshine Punye Martilokam Vishanti. Kshine Punye Martilokam Vishanti. And if your Vedanta samskaras are strong in this lifetime, next lifetime you will take it up. If this lifetime sunke gaya, you just heard and went. Like some of my students, they ran away from the class when I started pushing them a little bit. If you are like that, then next lifetime also we will wonder whether you will take it up or not take it up. Yeah. So, this he says you are free from. Why? Moksha is here and now. You have understood the truth, therefore moksha is here and now for you. Moksha is, you have understood the truth. अभी क्या है? What is left for you? Nothing. You are already nothing but pure consciousness. You have taken that mindset, you have understood the whole thing. You have come to the understanding of the reality. That I am that Brahman which is free from time and space, birthless, deathless entity. अभी क्या बाकी है? कुछ नहीं. कुछ नहीं. What is left for you to do? Nothing is left for you to do. So, Swamiji, what do I do after that? After that, do whatever you want. Yatha achasi tata kuru. Whatever you desire, you do. If you have the wisdom, you will know what to do with the wisdom as well. Yeah. Swamiji, I don't want to be a teacher, this, that, etc. I don't want to take on all those headaches. Correct, if you know. Yeah. Now, somebody who says that must have been a big headache to his teacher, okay? Therefore, he knows I don't want to take it up. If you get a student like me, gadbad ho jayega. All right, for him another advice is given. Murkhavat acharet. Like how the other ignorant people live in the society, you also live like that.
Sir, I have a question.
हाँ, बोलो.
Sir, in the Tulsidas Ramayana and many other books.
Tulsidas Ramayana, I will not take it for any discussion. Is the question on Ramayana, then I won't take it because it is not the original. If it's something else, ask.
No, Tulsidas Ramayana only says once you say Ram and you are liberated.
Very good. So say Ram, don't bother to study Vedanta. All the rishis were fools. Correct?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all the rishis must have been fools, no? And only Tulsi was a wise person. Correct? Sashi, what is the problem in Vedanta? What is the human problem? Based on what?
See, I consider myself to be finite
Ha.
and I get irritated.
Okay, finite. You take yourself finite. I don't want the reactions to that. Finite. How do you why do you take yourself to be a finite entity?
Because the body is seen and
Because
I identify
body is
with
seen,
those-
etc. You see a table. You don't take the table as yourself. Why do you take yourself to be a finite being? What is the fundamental reason?
I have been doing it unless till I came in contact with you. So it's a long.
Will someone help her?
Yes,
Why
sir.
is this problem of taking the body as myself? Yeah, Kamini?
Ignorant my own true nature.
Because I don't know my own nature.
Yeah.
Ignorance of my-
Avidya.
Is that clear, Sashi, that it is because of self-ignorance? Or that is not clear?
Yeah.
Ah,
No, it's clear.
okay, good.
Clear.
If it is clear it is of self-ignorance, then what should be the solution?
Knowledge.
If knowledge is the solution, in how taking someone's name will help you? How do you gain knowledge? How do you gain knowledge? Answer that. How do you gain knowledge?
By listening to discourses, mananam.
That means you need exposure to a means of knowledge, correct? To a pramana. Understand the technical aspects of it well.
Yeah.
You are ignoring this, that is why the question is coming up. So you need to know. If I had to know, I need a means of knowledge. Means of knowledge happens to be Vedanta.
Yeah.
Now tell me, if the means of knowledge is Vedanta, how can chanting a name or chanting it once help me?
So that was the doubt in my mind.
So you answer the doubt. You answer the doubt yourself. Tell me, how will taking a name once remove your self-ignorance? Here is an ignorant idiot. Because he listened to Tulsi, he said Rama, Ram. Okay. Actually, it is Ramaha. But he said, Ignorance चले जाएगा? Yes, Shashi, tell me, answer. Will the ignorance go?
Answer, sir. This, sir, one thing can happen. I am reading Vedanta, I am listening, I am doing
I want you to be specific in your answer to what I asked.
specific, yeah. And I do Ram Ram and chanting. Some grace, your grace descends on me and I am able to understand myself.
Then fine.
Yeah.
So, then why are you even asking me this question? How by taking Ram Nam once my ignorance is gone?
Because I am reading Tulsi Ramayana these days.
That is the problem. You are reading without analysis.
Okay.
Analyze. In the light of Vedanta, look at the text.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now little background for those people who may not have come to my Ramayana class.
No, I am attending.
Yeah, you are attending, I know, but still you are asking the same question. What I have handled there. Ratnakara the dacoit,
Yeah.
when he confronted the Sapta Rishis, the story goes like that. And it's from some Purana, okay? It's not from the Valmiki. The Rishis, when he understood that what he was doing was wrong, the dacoity that he was doing was a wrong thing, the Rishis gave him Ramanama as a japa. It seems he did it for 1,000 years. Not once, okay? He did this Rama japa for 1,000 years, went into Samadhi. And an anthill grew around him.
Yeah.
He was sitting in Samadhi, an anthill grew around him. Then the Saptarishis happened to pass that way again. And they found this anthill there and a whole vibration. They understood, of course, that it is some person who has sat in Samadhi there. So they broke open the anthill and released the person. That is how Ratnakara became Valmiki. Okay. Then he wanted to know, the name helped me by Japa Dhyanam, I went into Samadhi. Is there a person called who stands by that name? Because a name has to stand for a form. Then the Narada revealed the story of Ramayana to him. That's how the story goes. Therefore, it is not this chanting the names, etc., is very beautiful, very necessary. Japa Dhyanam, etc., is necessary to prepare your mind. Okay. It is not meant as a solution all the way. It's meant to prepare your mind. Once your mind is ready, then the grace of Ramanama will make you a teacher come to you. That time, what are you supposed to do when the teacher is there? The teacher can wait. I will do my Rama, 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 Rama. क्या हो जाएगा? Will you gain knowledge?
No, I have to work hard,
You have to gain, you have to study, exactly.
study, discuss.
So that is exactly the question. Otherwise, you will be like this person whom I knew. Poor guy is no more. Why poor guy? Because you will understand when I complete the story. He had a habit, very good habit, okay? Every morning he will get up early, 4:30, and one chapter of the Ramayana he will read.
Yeah,
Very good sadhana it is. Sashi, don't keep on interrupting me. Okay.
Sorry.
So he would read one chapter regularly. Good sadhana to do. It's a great sadhana. That time our course was going on in the ashram. And these people would come sometimes in the evening, on a Saturday evening or something, attend the satsang, meet Swamiji and go. And these are all people who are very much into chanting, this, that, etc. So Swamiji told them, Puja Swamiji told them, I'm starting the Taittiriya Upanishad next month, come for it. You will understand some things. Yes, Swami. They all nodded, but they didn't turn up. Taittiriya over. Then Swamiji told them, Mandukya Karika next week, come. They didn't come. 3 months gone. Then Swamiji tells them, Brahma Sutra next week. Next time you have to listen to me for Brahma Sutra, you'll have to come to Rishikesh. I don't know what made Swamiji say that, but he said it. And it happened. After that, Puja Swamiji has not taught Brahma Sutra in Bombay. So they all decided to come. Arey, Brahma Sutras, no? I will start with the highest. I mean, there are plenty of idiotic students that I find that in all disciplines. I want to start with the highest. At least in other disciplines is easy. You want to start with the highest class of yoga. Easy to dissuade them. Yeah. But, or a martial art class, highest class. Couple of whacks and they'll understand, no, I'm not ready for it. But Vedanta mein mushkil ho jata hai. Anyway, now this guy who is doing the Ramayana sadhana, problem ho gaya usko. Now I knew him well. He says, now what to do? Every morning I do the Ramayana. I said, shift. When you go back home, na, after the Brahma Sutra class, then do the Ramayana. Problem solved. Oh, they'll become late. I said, okay, do it in the evening. There's no rule you can't do it in the evening. It's Ramayana. No. So he would get up at 3:30 in the morning. He had to leave home at 6 o'clock to reach the ashram for the 7 o'clock class. So he'd get up at 3:30 in the morning, do the full Ramayana chanting, come to the ashram and sleep in the Brahma Sutra class. I'm not joking. He used to sit next to me and sometimes I had to prod him to wake him up because he used to snore. Your sadhana has become a conditioning. Your sadhana has become a conditioning. Everything is meant for a purpose. Move on after the purpose is fulfilled. Keep some of it going because you may not have had enough antakarna shuddhi. Therefore, thoda keep it going. Don't drop it completely. If you're doing some japa, cut it down, but do it. Keep it going. Convert it into japa dhyanam. So I hope next time people will not come up with a question like this. Okay, they will understand when they hear something like this, they'll understand the big picture and interpret it in keeping with the big picture. Okay. Otherwise, somebody will come, Swamiji, I studied this Upanishad. It is called Kali Santarna Upanishad. Yeah. There is an Upanishad like that. In Kali Yuga, this Upanishad will uplift you. Kalau kalmasha chittanam. In Kali Yuga, with all the antakarna ashuddhi. Kalmasham. Papa dravya upajivinam. You are living on things that you earned by papa karmas. Because for you to gain some money, somebody else has to lose something. Especially if you are a trader or something. Okay. Papa dravya upajivinam. Vihita karma vihinanam. All the within Vihita karma. Agnihotra ityadi I am not doing. Maximum वो संध्या वंदनम करेंगे तो बहुत बड़ा हो गया. Gayatri Japa I am doing big thing. विहित कर्म विहीनानाम हरेर्नामैव केवलम, हरेर्नामैव केवलम. करेक्ट है. You can't do anything else, at least take Harinama. Upanishad is very clear. But look at it, people looking for shortcuts. This is why I am spending some time on it. People looking for shortcuts will hold on to this is enough for me. Why? Because you lack the intellectual rigor necessary, the discipline that is necessary to study. Even though you are not doing all the work, the teacher is doing all the work, okay? Because you lack it, you are looking for shortcuts. That samsari buddhi of Sukhajivi, I spoke about it elaborately last class. That samsara buddhi that is there of being Sukhajivi, looking for comfort, extends to this. Extends to that. ज़्यादा कष्ट नहीं करने का है. I had a student like that. ये शरीर को ज़्यादा कष्ट नहीं देने का है. थोड़ा योगासन करो 15-20 मिनट, कुछ आधा किलोमीटर 1 किलोमीटर चलो, that's all, not more than that is exercise. रोज एक कटोरी घी खा लो, घृतो वै आयुः, 1 katori ghee every day. He lived up to 92. But lot of kasht he used to do with his brain to understand Vedanta. And when he died, his last word was Aham Brahmasmi. He died with that on his lips. Anayasena maranam. He got up in the morning, had tea and everything, was not feeling very comfortable. He says, I will go and lie down for some time. He went and lay down and said, Aham Brahmasmi, and went. Because lot of kasht here he had done to understand Vedanta. I am talking of Sahaya Sahib, some of you know him.
Yeah.
Kesari Nandan Sahaya. So the idea is this. This kashta, if you don't want to do, then you look for shortcuts. Yes, prepare your mind a lot. Live with Sakshi Bhavam right through in every activity of yours. Be like that samurai warrior. Be like a Vajramushti warrior, live like that. If that much kashta you can do, then one class is enough for you. Moksha. You will become like the Upanishadic students, Shvetaketu, Nachiketa, Garge, Maitreyi, etc. You will be like that. If you can't do that, then study. Don't look for shortcuts, okay? Alright. Therefore, he says, for the one who knows the truth, there is no margaha, nowhere to go. At the fall of the body, there is nowhere to go. You remain what? As pure consciousness. Previously, the consciousness expressed through a body. Now, the consciousness remains as pure consciousness. Yeah. It remains as that. Okay. Previously, he was a person through which people were seeking knowledge. And now, he is what? He is the sought, he is the goal for everyone. This is what I said with respect to Pujya Swamiji. I said that with respect to Omkarananda also. We lost a good Guru Bhai. Many of you knew Omkarananda. Yeah, he spoke at the last Vedic Wisdom Festival. He died with COVID. Understandable. He was overweight, diabetic, kidney problems. Very vulnerable. Okay. That was Deha Prarabdha. So he went through it. Ishwarecha, okay? Yeah. Ishwarecha. God's will. So with that, okay, know no gatihi after death. Whereas an ignorant person dying has a gati. He has to go to another dimension, up or down, depending upon his karmas here, and then come back to pick up the thread again. No guarantee that you will have a human life, okay? No guarantee. Depends upon your karma, that's fructifying. I always said, if your karma has been so beautiful that you can afford to laze in a swimming pool all day, food and drink available to you on the side, then you'll be born not as Bill Gates, you'll be born as a water buffalo. Laze in a swimming pool all day. Yeah. So that's what will happen to you. Yeah. Punya karma, lot of punya. Okay. But therefore, according to your karma, you have won. But if you have studied Vedanta enough, the samskaras are strong, then Krishna in the 6th chapter has given a promise that next birth also will be human. And you will pick up the threads from there. But don't postpone it, okay? This life itself. Don't postpone it. Yeah. Deal with it this lifetime itself. Okay. Then the paradigm for understanding the truth, there are different paradigms. This is reminding you of different paradigms. Okay. Another one coming up in the next verse. Pranadyevam tikkam khitva tirno ajnana mahodidim swatmastaha nirgunam shuddha buddha mukta sato hi saha. Pranadyevam trikam khitva. Pranadi, associated with the 3 states, trikam, waking, dream and deep sleep. I, the consciousness, through the waking mind, sees the waking world, is aware of the waking mind and the waking world. I, the consciousness, through the dreamer's mind, is available of the dream world and the dreaming mind. I, the consciousness, associated through pure Maya, avidya, is aware that mind and body is sleeping. I am aware of that ignorance. That I, he says, to see that I as independent, to see that I consciousness as independent of the 3 states of experience. There is no 4th state. All 4 states are included in the 3 states. Turiya is not a state. Turiya is Atma Swarupaha. Now don't ask me, Swamiji, what about Samadhi? You go to Samadhi in deep sleep, waking state or dream state? From the waking only you go, no? So included in the waking state. If there is knowledge, you are awake to the truth. If you don't know the truth, it's only an experience, put it into deep sleep state. Because you didn't know yourself, you didn't know the world anyway. That's what you call a sleep. So your choice, where do you want to put it? Yeah. Samajhi, but yoga books talks about dharma, mega, samadhi, etc., where you connect with the cosmic mind. Yeah, it talks about it. And you can do it also. Anyway, your mind is part of the cosmic mind. Anyway, your mind is part of the cosmic mind. But there is a disconnect right now. Not completely, it's a partial disconnect. Why? Because you have to function as one unit. But there is always a connect with the cosmic mind. That's called your gut instinct, your intuition, etc. That connect is always there. So through some practices, you increase that connect. So you get a better connect with the cosmic mind. That means you will know a little bit more. Acha hai. Good. So, does it remove your sense of finitude? My pokey mind cannot download the whole thing that is there in the cosmic mind. It will blow out. You know, there is a very interesting movie made like this. Very interesting movie. It was that Indiana Jones movie. Who is the hero of that Indiana Jones thing?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Correct. Harrison Ford. That champion. And remember that movie, I forget the name of the movie. I see movie in bits and pieces, when I'm surfing the net, surfing the TV at the end of a long day. All about those crystal heads and everything. What was that movie called? Anyone remembers? Who's the movie buff here?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, there are all those crystal heads. The 13 crystal heads were there and all that thing. And the Nazis were after that, all that stuff. Yeah. And this lady tries to connect up and get their knowledge. And it blows her mind. Because our human minds cannot handle that knowledge. It's a good movie for that part, okay? Otherwise, it's just a movie. For entertainment purposes, it's fun. Okay? It is not only our Hindi movies that are mindless. You can have Western movies also which are mindless. Good fun, okay? So, this pokey little human mind cannot download the whole knowledge anyway. A certain little bits, you will get a peep into it. Good, अच्छा है. Good. So what's the big thing about it? In what way is that moksha? Isn't that moksha? You gained something, some more knowledge. Yep. So Stephen Hawking had a lot of knowledge, which I don't have. He also looked into the cosmic mind and discovered all those things. Huge. Einstein had. Many of the great thinkers have had. Many of the great thinkers have had. Why? Many of the great chefs have had. Cooking. When they produce something, And the South Indian mommy makes a coffee. Standardization. Every time it is the same coffee every day. Same high quality standard mentioned. None of these coffee day, barista, etc. can make a coffee like that. So like that you have different skills, different knowledge, big deal. In what way is that moksha? In what way is that moksha? Therefore, the three states of experience having left them behind, your identity, to recognize yourself as pure consciousness, he says. To recognize yourself as pure consciousness. All this is paradigms of teaching, okay? Don't think people are doing it on their own. No. All these have been taught. And once you are taught, you can use all of them. In your mananam, in your nididhyasanam, you can use all of them, okay? Mandukya paradigm, okay? Okay? And tirnaha ajnana mahodidim. By that, having crossed over ajnana mahodidim, the great ocean of ajnanam, swatmastaha, you become what? Swatmastaha. Where are you then? Atmani tishtati iti. Now, if you go to my home state of Kerala, there's a good expression there, It's only an expression now, unfortunately. You ask a retired man, what are you doing now? Swastam, he will say. It's a typical expression, okay? It's a typical expression. What are you doing? Swastam. Swatmani tishtati iti swastaha. So here he clarifies swatmastaha. That is an apabramsha of swatmastaha is swastam. Swatmani tishtati. Meaning what he is saying is, I become a lazy lotus eater, I am not doing anything. Here it is literal swatmastaha. Why? I am no more taking myself to be a functioning entity. That is the dress I wear when I have to go out. When I have to go out into the world and function, I wear the dress of waking, dream and deep sleep. Generally waking. I wear the dress of ahankara and go. But otherwise, swatmastaha, nirgunam shuddham, nirgunaha, free from any attributes, qualities, whatever you want to say. Good, bad, ugly, anything. That limitlessness is free from all qualities. Because any quality makes you a finite entity. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya varjitam. Sounds familiar?
Gita, Swami.
Huh?
Gita.
Gita, yes. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam. There with all the gunas, but free from all the gunas. There with all the gunas. And free from all the gunas. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam. That's why nirgunam, shuddham, untainted by anything. Buddha, all knowledge. All knowledge. Mukta swato hi saha. And what? Therefore muktaha. You have not become free. You discovered you are never bound. You discovered that your bondage was purely delusionary. There was no real bondage. You took yourself to be a bound person. By nature you are free. You mistook yourself to be bound. You are always free. Eva swatahi saha. Okay. All right. Very simple, straightforward verse. Okay. Then the same idea presented in another verse. Ajoham cha amritaha amrutyuhu ajo abhaya eva cha sarvajna sarvadrak shuddha iti buddha na jayate. Iti buddha na jayate. If you know like this, you are free from birth and death. Not free from rebirth and redeath. Okay. Free from birth and death. Past, present, future. Okay. Yeah. How? Ajaha aham. I am the unborn one. Meaning, I am timelessness itself. I am not limited by time. Ajaha. Amaraha. Both together makes it complete. Free from birth, free from death. Ajaraha amaraha. Amrutyuhu. There is nothing like death for me. Body will fall. Body is meant to fall. Okay. Body will fall. It is meant to fall. How long do you want to keep being trapped in this body anyway? How long do you want to be kept wrong? Yeah. कहाँ तक बैठेगा शरीर में? Really? How long do you want to be? As long as it's functional. Okay, fine. After that, समाधि में बैठ के निकल जाने के और क्या? How long are you going to say? Yeah. Okay. Amara. Abhaya evacha. Abhayam. Abhayam pratishtam vindate. Says fearlessness. Important point to note. Okay. Now, we may not all be living in fear. Okay, little bit we may be because of corona. Because of the Wuhan virus, we all may be having a little bit fear. Okay. The idea of when you say abhayam, it is free. Every born a human being, you cannot avoid a certain sense of insecurity. Why? Because you appreciate a loss. If you are a finite being, you cannot but help appreciating a loss. Isn't it? And people tell me, Swamiji, I am not afraid of death. Then what are you afraid of? I am afraid of losing a hand or a leg. I am afraid of being bedridden. That means partial death you are afraid of, complete death you are not afraid of. Yeah, it is true. Therefore, we all have some areas of insecurity. Born a human being, you can't avoid that. Because of that, you have to live in courage. Say, I will deal with it. I will accept it and deal with it. Nobody likes that loss, whatever it is. Whether it is a thing or a person. Okay. Whether it is a thing or a person, you don't like that loss. But if you know how to deal with that loss, if you can handle that loss, you are living in relative courage. Because people have done that. I have this friend, she's about 10 years younger than me. Okay, I've known her since college days. So she was going Bombay to Bangalore to attend her uncle's wedding, met with an accident on the road, woke up in hospital with the right hand amputated. Elbow down, gone. True story, okay? And she calls up her father from the hospital near Bangalore, on the outskirts of Bangalore. Says, Dad, I lost my hand, but don't worry. I sent uncle a card. I find I can write with my left hand. Within a day of losing that right hand, she has learned to deal with it. And she was a chartered accountant, okay? She was studying to be a chartered accountant, where writing is important. You are a pencil pusher. All the time your pencil and paper is what your work is. Those days there were no laptops. Lives with courage. But that's courage. Yeah. That's living in courage. It is not fearlessness. Fearlessness is when you recognize there is nothing to lose. You are the only reality that is there. You are the only reality that is there. All that is there is only one consciousness. I am that consciousness. Body, mind, etc. are apparent manifestations from this consciousness. Only that knowledge gives you fearlessness. So to understand what is absolute fearlessness, you have to be able to live in relative courage. If you are living in fear, you will not understand what fearlessness is. Yes, you should know the meaning of fear. There is always something called a healthy fear. Another word for it is caution. So when I go out, even though I am vaccinated twice, I will still wear a nice mask and go. That is caution. You know the meaning of what it is. You may be fearless. Abhayam pratishtam vindate is when you recognize there is nothing to be gained or lost. You are the only consciousness that is there. This is the absolute level of fearlessness. What is there to lose? Body, mithya, manifestation of yourself. Or kya? Suffering, not for me. But Swamiji, suffering is there, no? I'll give you an exercise. Next time when you have a small ache or pain somewhere, no? And aches and pains are natural, no, in life. Somewhere you will hurt your hand, hurt your leg, get a headache, something will happen. Next time you get that, please objectify it. Disconnect yourself from that. Say, this is there in the body. Yeah, I feel the pain. See the texture of that pain. It's important because this is not a psychological disconnect we are talking about. See the texture of that pain and objectify it. मजा आएगा. Yeah. You'll be surprised how free you are from the pain. You can put yourself into pain also and handle it, but that be careful, okay? Don't damage yourself in the process. So this question of being able to live in fearlessness. Now people, when I say all these things, people turn around, Swamiji, you are a martial artist, your pain tolerance is high, that's why you are doing it. No. You think martial arts, we kill our nerves or what? We make our nerves very sensitive actually. Yeah. There may be some deadening, etc., happening in some areas, but that is not the question. Here, it is not because of martial arts. We are talking about seeing yourself as independent of body and mind. Therefore, unaffected by what's happening in the body and mind. Mind also remind you because your worry, anxiety, tension is here. Your fear is here. Objectify that fear and welcome it. Objectify that. What is afraid? What are you afraid of? Feel it like a wave coming over. Watch. Like how you watch a wave on the seashore. So watch that wave of fear coming in and watch. See yourself as independent of that emotion of fear. Any emotion, see yourself as fear, free from it. These are things to be done, okay? I can only talk about it. You have to do that. Otherwise, 1 year down the line, the same thing will be. I'll repeat the same thing. You also will nod your head and it will become the same. No, watch it. Yeah. Therefore, abhyam pratishtam vindate, he says, okay. Abhyam evacha. Sarvajnaha sarvadrak. Sarvajnaha sarvadrak. Actually, this is the definition of Ishvara. He is bringing in the definition of Ishvara here to make you understand this is exactly like a Tattvamasi statement. You cannot, the completeness of this understanding will come only with the Mahavakya. Sarvajnaha, one who knows everything. Sarvadrik, one who sees everything. Now, as a human mind, the consciousness will objectify whatever is there in front. And what is in front is limited. Why? Because this consciousness manifests through a limited mind and body. But then the consciousness manifests through the total mind and body. Sarvajnaha Sarvadrik becomes literally true. Ishvaraha. Therefore, he is bringing in the definition of Ishvara here for the sense of that equation, that you are nothing but that. You objectify your body, Ishvara objectifies his body. You objectify your mind, Ishvara objectifies his mind. What is left behind? One consciousness, which is behind both you and Ishvara. So all there is one consciousness. This is exactly what Anjaneya said in the Ramayana. When asked by Rama, how do you relate yourself to me? He said this. Deha drishtya to dasoham. From the standpoint of the body, you are the Lord and Master. I am your servant, your sevakaha. Jiva drishtya to amshakaha. The standpoint of the jiva, as a jiva, you are the totality. I am a part of you. Vastu buddhya, from the standpoint of the reality, Tumevaham, you and I are one and the same. Iti me nischit matihi. It's a beautiful statement. It shows how different levels of functioning are possible with the understanding of the reality. People are afraid, if I know the reality, how will I be able to function? How could Anjaneya not function? As a Ramadasa, he functioned. He functioned as a dasa. What type of a dasa? As a child, he could have stopped the sun from rotating. He could have blocked the root of the sun as a baby. That's how much capable he was. Yeah. Yeah. Nava Vyakarna Pandita. One system of grammar for us to study. Sanskrit grammar is difficult. He had mastered 9 systems of grammar. This is pre-Paninian, okay? Pre-Paninian. And then he knew the truth about what Rama is. Tvameva, I and you are one and the same. But then function as what? Dasaha. So what is the problem there? What is the problem? Any amount of functioning is not an issue. If you understand Sarvadrak, Sarvajnaha Sakshihi, Shuddhaha iti, the pure consciousness is mean. Buddhaha, therefore a person of knowledge, a wise person, Buddhaha. This is what is wisdom. Everything else is why? Because everything else is to manage the world. Everything else is to manage the world. This is what gives you freedom from the world. All other knowledge that you gain is meant to deal with the world. This is meant to release you from the world and the limitations of the world. Therefore, Buddha. Therefore, na jayate mriyate cha. Neither are you born, never were you born, never are you dying. Yeah. You are free from birth and death at all times. Yeah. At all times you are free from birth and death. Now, when you start studying, you will think, okay, when I gain moksha, I will be free from birth and death. No more births for me. And then, the problem. You know, one of my friends who is a teacher, her kids, her younger sister tells her, I don't want moksha, freedom from birth and death. I want to enjoy life at least 2-3 more lifetimes before I come to Vedanta. Because when you are presenting it as no more birth and death, you think, Arey, I love my husband, I love my child, all the things going of the mind will start. Yeah. And you will equate it with something like nothingness. I am not there. What do you mean you are not there? We are saying you are there as pure consciousness. It's not you are not there. You are that limitless consciousness, the basis for the whole creation. That's what you remain as. You remain as that. It's important to take it like that. I was no more birth and death, etc. Then you will think of Maja nahi aayega yaar. Arey, you are Ananda Swarupaha. What Maja you are talking about? Yeah. That is why Taittiriya Upanishad, for example, gives you a calculus of Ananda. Remember that? Sadhu, Yuva, Sat, etc. Asishtaha, Balishtaha, Dridishtaha. All that he has said. A perfect human being. And the wealth of the whole world is there with him. There is nobody like that, okay? That is one unit of, maximum unit of human happiness. 100 times that is Gandharva Ananda. My God. 100 times that. That belongs to this person. Shotriyascha akama hatasya. It's a person who knows the truth and is rooted in this knowledge. 100 times that is Deva Gandharva Ananda. That also belongs to this person. 100 times that is Devananda. Not Devananda, our local character, okay? Devanam Ananda. That also belongs to this. It goes on like that until Indra, Brahmaji, etc. And all that belongs to this person. Meaning, it's mind-boggling to think that how much, what is that Ananda? Anandam is limitlessness. So when that limitlessness is manifest in your mind, you experience joy, etc. So you are always Ananda and you know you are Ananda. Then what maja are you looking for? Udhar jayega to maja aayega. Like lockdown, everyone is wearing. When will the bars open? Arey, you have a mini bar at your home, na? Kya farak pada? No, that is different. That experience is different. Okay? Experience hunter is samsari. Okay, it is like trying to come back to yourself through something else. going round and coming back, you know. It's trying to come back to yourself. Whereas here you are directly Anandoham. But Swamiji, if you are Anandoham, can you enjoy things? Why not? You know very well that is not giving you the Ananda, but that's helping to manifest the Ananda that you are. Itna hi farak hai. That is a fact for everyone. One person has recognized, others have not recognized. Itna hi farak hai. Yeah. To recognize that, you should have seen Swamiji enjoying a good meal. He's from Kumbakonam, okay? Therefore, he was a Rasika. And it came to food. It's to enjoy the finer. And he will comment on it also. So, you know, in spite of being Ananda, he could enjoy good things in life. And he could be happy with simple dal roti also. You'll wonder what is his favorite food. His favorite food used to be khichdi. Sadhu log hai, we live on these things, okay? So the idea is that you are always Ananda Swarupa, you remain as Ananda. Buddha, na jayate, mriyate va vipaschat. Yeah. Vipaschat na jayate, mriyate va. Never was there birth or death for him. He is always that one Ananda Swarupa alone. Limitlessness. That is the idea. That is the idea. Not that you will disappear. You remain as limitlessness itself, free from any limitation. Yeah, free from any limitation. I hope it is clear up to now. Okay. There is more, but we will see that later, because we have another session in the evening, so I don't want to overload you all with too much. Okay. So good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.